So you've got the moral law, which is 100% of the Ten Commandments is an essential part of the moral law. But you would say there's moral laws that spill out into other things,
right?
That are in
absolutely
throughout the law,
like to lie with a beast. Right, that's not one of the Ten Commandments. It has its root ultimately, and thou shalt not commit adultery, the seventh commandment. But it's not specifically one of the Ten Commandments that you can't lie with a beast.
Good example.
So but that would be an example. Mm-hmm.
And then you have these, but it seems like that whole area for theonomists would be this very fuzzy area, because if you were just following the law the way the Jews did, it'd just be really straightforward.
Right.
I mean, even they historically made this radically complicated, but it would be fairly straightforward from a basic perspective, right? When you're not trying to like parse difficult cases, when you're just looking at the basics, it's like, yeah, it's all right there. I just do exactly what it says.
It'd be straightforward, but hard. Because there's so many, but simple in the sense that it could all be easily known and wouldn't require any serious thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys do with, for example, a law about Israel or about the people who are under the law traveling to Jerusalem every year for various feasts? Mm-hmm. And feasts in general? What's your perspective on that?
So feasts, 7 main feasts in Israel's annual calendar, the Feast of Booths, and then you have the Day of Atonement and Passover and all these things. We would say all that is belonging to the ceremonial law. So it's been fulfilled in Christ. So we would say that Christ has brought us near. Like every single one of those things we could look and say, and here's the deeper truth. That's the shadow. Here's the substance. That's the shadow. So like I need to travel, this Mecca pilgrimage, to go to Jerusalem, the holy city. Well, we have entered, we've been seated with Christ in heavenly places. He has brought us near. We can now boldly approach the throne, not just the throne of David in Jerusalem at a temple, but the throne of God, because it's a throne of grace now, no longer any condemnation. So all those kinds of things, feasts, booths, Day of Atonement, dove offerings, grain offerings, and cleansing rituals and practices and dietary restrictions. Christ himself even said, we have that parenthetical statement in the gospel narratives, it is not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, but what comes out of his mouth. And thus he declared all foods clean. And then we have a reiteration of that, speaking about the Gentiles, but also reiterating the basic, the surface level principle of dietary restrictions being removed with Acts chapter 10 and Peter, and the sheet from heaven, take and eat, kill and eat. Yeah. So that we would place that underneath the ceremonial category. Okay. And circumcision, also ceremonial? Yep. So circumcision would be, yes. That would be ceremonial. Again, so 98% of this 3 division of the law, I think really helpful, really accurate. But there is this, no pun intended, but there's with circumcision that bleeds over a little bit, that there's, some of the moral is over here and this and that. And so, so again, there may be some good sanitation reasons, right? Not just so it is first and foremost circumcision. What category? It's a ceremonial deal. It's been fulfilled in Christ and abrogated. So you're not in sin if you don't circumcise your son, which we're about to have our 4th child, my first boy, and we plan to circumcise him, but not so that we can be pleasing to the Lord, but simply because that's what I know, and that's my tradition, and I think there's some sanitary practices in that, and that's just what we're going to do. So, big news, really big news. Our next Right Response Conference is in the works. We've got a number of things already lined up and organized. This is what we got so far. The whole conference, 3 days long, on postmillennialism and theonomy. And the speakers, Dr. James White, Dr. Joseph Boot, Gary DeMar, and of course yours truly, Pastor Joel Webbon. We've got a great lineup. We've got great topics. If you want to find out dates and location and registration and anything else, go and visit our website, rightresponseconference.com. rightresponseconference.com.